Hey everybody, this is Charles Cook. Great to be with you. Happy Thanksgiving. It is just a really good day today, I think, because it's a casual day. So I'm here at home, and I was out working in the yard. My eyes look a little red. I was spreading pine needles, and people aren't from the South, you don't know what that is, but basically it's bundled pine needles. They call them pine straw, and instead of pebbles like in Phoenix or bark in the Northeast, you put this where your plants are so that you don't have weeds in the wintertime. It looks good. Anyway, also this week, I have to tell you, I made my famous homemade hot sauce. This is, I don't know what to call this yet. I was thinking about yellow fever, but I don't think that really fits. But this is from a pepper called a Chinese yellow hot pot pepper that is then bottled with mango and pineapple. And I got to tell you, it's really good. It's really good. Great to be with you. Happy Thanksgiving. We have some really big news today, and that is this yesterday, I guess Monday, all the parties in the DACA lawsuit put their filings in. So these are the last reply briefs. These are the last briefs of the three basic main parties, who are the plaintiffs, state of Texas, and what we call the federal defendants. And I guess there's also the New Jersey folks. So they all filed their briefs, and it's really interesting that this is really interesting because the government's brief here does something that's just a little different. Apparently, and I didn't see this in the plaintiff's brief, but the plaintiffs asked that the court treat their brief as a motion for summary judgment on claims of vacatur and declaratory relief. This is basically putting in place DACA again. And they argue that the claims were properly raised and briefed in September 2023. That was appealed. The federal defendants, basically ICE, USCIS, they say they don't really meet the supplemental facts. So they didn't really like this. They didn't like that. And I guess I'm going to play this one, and I really mean the state of Texas here. Basically, they are arguing that the state of Texas is not entitled to anything. This is the federal government arguing the plaintiffs, these are the state of Texas, are not entitled to further relief. Plaintiffs, Texas, this is the government, this is USCIS. Texas has already received all the relief it is entitled to following this court's ruling on summary judgment and the appeal to the Fifth Circuit. So what they say, after the court basically puts in place a permanent injunction and complies with the Fifth Circuit order, plaintiff Texas no longer has a live case. That's what they're saying here. So this is actually a really great argument from USCIS. Say, look, enough. There's enough here. And because what plaintiffs want to submit additional evidence, so they say, look, if the court is inclined to allow the remaining plaintiff states to submit injury now after 7 years of litigation, it should do through the normal course of motion practice. So I don't think the court's going to allow that. I don't think Hannon wants to go to his grave with this case pending, or maybe he does. So basically, the government, it's actually a relatively short brief. It's only, let's see how many pages this. It's only 7 pages long, the government, because it's a reply brief. This is a reply to the response to the actual briefs. What immigration basically is going through here, argue a lot of stuff that doesn't really mean much. So basically, and look, really, I'm on page 5 of the brief. Basically, I say, look, the plaintiff states ask the court to defer modification of a permanent injunction until issuance of a final judgment. Plaintiff states contend that restricting injunction to Texas while plaintiff's other claims remain pending would temporarily preserve. Basically, they're trying to stop all the other states that are plaintiffs in this from getting any relief in this case. So really the only states, the only DACA recipients affected are those that are in the great state of Texas. And we already know how they're affected. Let's take a look at the government, the briefs from the plaintiffs, from basically the interveners. These are the folks who basically came into the case as interveners. These are MALDEF, right? This is MALDEF's brief. And let's see what they did here. They've got an 18-page brief basically arguing the exact same thing that the federal government argues, basically. It is, here's a great, while this court does have discretion in how to implement the Fifth Circuit holding and craft an appropriate remedy, it may not and should not accept plaintiff's invitation to ignore and override what is now binding precedent. Indeed, the Fifth Circuit's clear remedial instructions foreclose each of the plaintiff's arguments. Again, the states wanted to do more stuff here. By severing DACA benefits provisions from forbearance, the Fifth Circuit held that forbearance alone is lawful. So DACA deferred action is lawful. By narrowing the injunction and the vacatur to Texas, the Fifth Circuit held that any remedy outside of Texas would be broader than necessary to provide complete relief to plaintiff, the only plaintiff with standing. Now, somebody asked me the other day, are other states going to file a new lawsuit? They might, but although I don't think they will. I mean, I think things in America are going in a direction, immigration-wise, that it's not a politically smart thing for them to try to do. Texas doesn't care. They think that the Democrats in Texas can't win an election. So, bottom line, I think they wrote here, the plaintiffs cannot relegate any of these issues. All right. So next division here, again, going after all the crazy stuff the plaintiffs, this again, the state of Texas wanted to do and the other plaintiffs. They make the same arguments, but in a lot more words than the federal government. So basically, what they're asking for is basically ignore Texas. They're idiots. Follow the rules. Follow the Fifth Circuit. Limit all forms to Texas. Effectuate DACA severability provision, and enjoin and vacate only work authorization and lawful presence. Maintain the stay for DACA who received their initial grants prior to July 16th, 2021. Now that's very interesting. And implement the Fifth Circuit's modification to the injunction to allow THS to carry out DACA's forbearance in Texas and its forbearance everywhere else. So this is bottom line. These arguments, these basically what the litigants, MALDEF and the interveners and New Jersey, basically just want the judge to put DACA back in place. Just put DACA back in place. I think that's going to happen, except for our friends in Texas. Now, we've already talked in detail. We talked in detail about what it means for people in Texas. I've had a lot of consults that say, what does it mean in Texas? Let me tell you what this means in Texas. And what USCIS said they propose and they will do, and I think they will do this, when the judge issues his final order, which I believe will be probably by mid-January. I'm not sure it'll be before Christmas. It'll be a good Christmas present, except for people in Texas. But as soon as they issue that, immigration, USCIS, will then send a letter or a notice to every DACA recipient with a current Texas address. They will then ask that DACA recipient, do you still live in Texas? Please respond in 30 days. Because if you still live in Texas and you don't respond to this, or you respond to it and say you're staying in Texas, then your work authorization will be canceled. And you will begin accruing unlawful presence. Boom. Nobody else outside of Texas will get that. So if you're in Texas and you don't mind losing your work permission and you don't mind accruing unlawful presence, perhaps because you had a lawful presence before you got DACA, then you can say Texas. You still have DACA in that you are protected from deportation. It's been forbeared. you are not going to be deported. You can't be deported while you have DACA. Now, if you still need your work authorization, that's also pretty clear. You can't live in Texas. You can work in Texas. Yep, you can work in Texas. You just can't live in Texas. So at the end of the day, if you want to keep working, you have to move, get an apartment, buy a small house, get a mobile home, and have an address physically outside of Texas. Now, people ask, well, how often can I work in Texas? Well, there's no state, there's no guidance on that. If you work in Texas full time, but in the weekends you go home, lots of people do that. Lots of people do that. You know, you stay in an apartment while you're in Texas, but you have an address outside of Texas. You file your taxes from outside of Texas. You are covered by insurance outside of Texas. Your employer treats you as an out-of-state employee. As long as all those things are complied with, I think you can work every day in Texas. Now, obviously, if you're in Dallas, you're not going to be able to commute from Oklahoma or Arkansas. But if you're in, somewhere in East Texas, or you're in El Paso, you can live in New Mexico. You can live in, you live in Louisiana. If you live, up in the Texas Cop, you can live in Oklahoma, and you're fine. So that's what it means for people in Texas. For everybody else, as soon as immigration sends that letter out to Texas people, they will also begin adjudicating all the DACA cases that are pending. So there's about 90,000 people. These are the people we began suing on, and then they basically told the court that they were going to approve the cases, or at least adjudicate the cases. Now, will it be the same level of approval as before? I don't know. I think they're going to be stricter. I think they'll be more strict on these cases. I think they may do a lot of requests for evidence to prove you've been here since you filed this. Prove that you're a good person, go to character. But you go get letters from friends and family saying you're a great person. And again, any arrest, I think any arrest, even if dismissed, for somebody with a DACA pending may be problematic. I'm not saying they're going to deny it. I'm just saying it may be problematic. Just this last week, by the way, I spoke to two DACA holders who got DUIs. It's like, really? Why? Why are you drinking at all? Life is too short. I mean, if you value your time here, one of the people I talked to, he's gonna have to leave. He's not gonna win his DUI. So they're talking, when do I leave? How do I leave? I leave whenever you want. Just get on an airplane and go. So let's be careful out there. Now, next thing I want to talk about before we get to questions is the new public charge rules. Now, these rules are not in place in the United States. This is a proposal by the Trump administration to change the Biden administration rules on public charge. Things about, you can't get a green card if you use Medicaid. Well, you can't use Medicaid if you're undocumented. You can't. And they're redefining what some things are as public charge things. Now, I will tell you, we don't have all the details yet. They haven't really published the details yet. So I can't answer specific, what if I get on this? What if I get that? What if my kids use SNAP? Good. That's your kid's benefit. It's not your benefit. All right. It's not your benefit. Maybe your spouse gets Medicare or Medicaid, but you can't. So, I think it's not gonna be a big deal for people. I think you just but there's gonna be more forms to fill out, etc. That we'll have to. It'll be, it's gonna make things more difficult to file, but it's coming back. Now, there's also, besides that, there is the letter, or what we call a cable, sent to consular officers that says, hey, if you think somebody's going to be a public charge, deny them. Like they're in really bad health or they're obese, you can deny them. Now, I don't think they can. And that memo went out about a month ago, and I haven't heard of anybody getting denied because they were obese. Because the reality, the world's most obese people already live in the United States. I'm just saying. And it starts right at the top. So new public charge rules, don't freak out about them. Your lawyer will tell you what the details are when they come out. All right, last thing, big news yesterday. Big news yesterday. Many of you know that if you have friends or family that were detained and they'd come in without a visa illegally 25 years ago, the immigration courts were saying, I can't give you bond. There's a Board of Immigration Appeals case says I can't give you bond. So we filed about 50 what we call petitions for writ of habeas corpus. This is an old writ. It comes from England. Basically, it says, hey, judge, produce this guy and make the government prove he's legally held. And we won all 50 of those cases, right? And there's hundreds that have been approved around the United States, hundreds. A group of friends of mine had filed a class action for everybody who's detained who came in more than 2 years ago, but has been here, came illegally. The judge yesterday said, nationwide injunction, you have to give them bond. So we no longer have to file a petition for habeas corpus. Woo! We can go right to the bond hearing. Woo! So we're going to start on Monday. Obviously, nobody's working today. Government's closed Friday. We'll start filing bond cases. So if you got friends or family that couldn't afford a habeas, you can now file for the bond directly with a copy of this national injunction. I don't see how they're going to get around this because it's pretty clear law. But that's great news. It's really great news. We get bond hearings back for our clients. Really great news. Now, I've been speaking English hoy día. Hoy día estoy hablando inglés, okay? Pero contestaré preguntas en español. So today I've been speaking English, but obviously I'll answer Spanish questions. We got 19 comments here. Hope everybody's doing great, having a great Thanksgiving. My eye got better. Just don't spread pine straw before you have to go on TV, right? Because then your eyes get all red with all the dust that comes up. Juicy Mango. Speaking of juicy mangoes, good stuff. Hello, my wife is a U.S. citizen. I have DACA. I'd like to travel to Chicago next year. You can go to Chicago. You're fine. First of all, she's a U.S. citizen. She can go anywhere she wants to. And you have DACA. You can go anywhere you want to. You can fly perfectly fine. So, Juicy Mango, my question is, why don't you have a green card? You're married to a U.S. citizen, dude. Or gal. I don't know who Juicy Mango is. Maybe I don't want to know. I don't know. Thanks for reposting the stream. Very cool. Thank you. How long until work permits get revoked? Well, again, if the court doesn't make a decision and say to January 15th, then it will be at least another 30 to 60 days after that, is what I think. ¿Por qué no sabe nada de DACA? Margot, yo hablé de DACA por 15 minutos. Hablé sobre DACA. Will they open DACA again? Yes, they will be opening. And that's for anybody who didn't apply the first time or who couldn't apply after 2021. So you turn 15 after 2021, you'll be able to apply for DACA. I've got like a dozen clients who are like in their 30s who just didn't think they could qualify for DACA, who clearly do. So we'll be able to apply for DACA. Yes, DACA will open for everybody except for those who live. Even in Texas, you can apply for DACA. You just can't get the work permit or the lawful presence. Laura, ¿cómo estás? What is your experience with clients of tip 2s? All right, this is a great question because it depends on the tattoo. So if you've got teardrops coming off your eye, you're probably going to be denied in Juarez. I'm just saying. You get a gigantic MS-13 on your back, you'll probably be denied in El Salvador. All right, let's use common sense. You got a butterfly in your butt, you're probably okay. So it depends. Now, my personal position is don't get a tattoo. It's stupid. Really. Wait till you have a green card. You can get all the tattoos you want. When you tattoo your face, you're like Mike Tyson, whatever. Perfectly fine to do that. But while you're a non-immigrant or undocumented, why are you getting tattoos? Well, it's just my mom. I remember a little bit. Look, what we do as lawyers, we have you give us pictures of every tattoo, unless it's in a sensitive area, which hopefully you're dumb enough to have done. And then we actually have a tattoo expert, a former cop, gang guy, who tell us, hey, this is a problem. So that's my experience. So we personally haven't had anybody denied at Juarez, but I know of people who have been denied. Well, Ron, thank you very much. You made my whole day. I was one of your service termination students, applied for LPT. It's been 1 to 6 months, no results submitted. What to do in your case? You can do something after 6 months. Well, have you asked your congressman? Have you done an inquiry? I mean, you got to do those things first. If you want to sue, give me a call. Porque hay en inglés. Hoy en inglés, porque la semana pasada estaba en español, Minerva. Recuerda que todos sus clientes no van a entender a quién va dirigido. Bueno, Minerva, a mí, por supuesto, pero hoy día también tenemos que servir los que hablan el inglés. y no solamente el idioma celestial en español. Pero si tú tienes preguntas, me llames nomás. En la semana siguiente hablaremos todo en español. How do you ask questions? You type them. Type them in the comments section, and I read them. How long until Judge Hammond makes a decision? I kind of addressed this already. I think it'll probably be no earlier than Christmas, I don't think. And I don't think it'll be any later than January. Oh, well, can you clear comment that people are making saying that it can go back to, it cannot go back to the Supreme Court. This case is not going to the Supreme Court. The states cannot appeal. The judge is just interpreting what the Fifth Circuit told him to do. So no, there's no appeal of this. There's just not. I don't know who's telling you that. Why haven't they decided no thing on DACA? Because they've been doing the briefs and the judge is slow walking it. Can an employer sponsor someone who has submitted an asylum application, not Honduras, Venezuela? Well, they can, Carolina. Employer can sponsor anybody. They don't even have to be in the United States to be sponsored. But that's not really the question, is it? The question is, can that sponsorship serve as a basis to get a green card? And that depends on when the asylum case was filed, whether the asylum case is meritorious, whether they've accrued any unlawful presence. So what I would suggest you do is you give us a call, make an appointment. I'll give you the numbers at the end, and we're happy to talk about it. La mayoría que tienen DACA hablan inglés, exactamente, Adriana. Y'all some impatient people. Marco, you're awesome. So they're going to reopen DACA now, Judge. Yes, it's a short thing. He's going to reopen DACA. What will happen right after the ruling? We'll all celebrate. And then you'll do exactly what I told you to do earlier in the broadcast. Carmen, what just for Texas? Texas is the only ones losing their work permits. Also, can you file a group case again on behalf of all the students who have not received their OPT? No, there's no case there. Leave every one of those cases. You want to sue on your own, certainly can. Give us a call. If they go with the suggestions, then yes, I have to ruling. All right, let's see. Thanks for all the help again. My vacation, by the way, to Iceland was totally awesome. I was trying to figure out how to say Iceland in Spanish, and I was thinking Yerolandia, but it's actually Icelandia. Okay. How do I ask a question? You just type it in with the fingers. El que es perico donde quiera es verde. Stay strong, my DACA people. There you go. Do you think of people who had their application on hold in 2021 and worked? No, they won't. There's no penalty for working illegally. Of course you worked. I mean, duh. Abogado, le demanda para proteger a los portadores de acción deferida por la jurisdicción. Solo va a proteger el que demanda o a todos en general. Tú estás hablando de la demanda que estamos haciendo con los bufetes de Impact Immigration, y eso es por los que solo que tienen por la visa U, solamente por la visa. If you accrued unlawful presence, yes, you can still, unlawful presence doesn't matter for advanced parole. Doesn't matter for advanced parole. It only matters for adjustment of status or consular processing, but not for advanced parole. So yeah, please. And we got, I think I told you everybody in Spanish last week, a week ago, we got a new person's advanced parole. So, I mean, they're still doing them. I suspect what's happened is they've reassigned all the people that were assigned to that. They're just not working on them. I mean, they do them, but they don't have 10 people working on them. They don't have one person working on them. Oscar, it's not done yet, but it will be. What about the 300? There's not 300,000 dreamers in Texas. There are 90,000 dreamers in Texas. Texas doesn't want you. Texas doesn't want you. Leave. Screw Texas. Really. And the horse they rode in on. Screw them. They don't want you. A lot of other states do want you. You should go there. A friend of mine has plans to file 45 in a few months. Rooster's traffic while using a phone. Why are they using a phone while driving? Okay. Sorry, our general, not just, yeah. I would disclose it. I disclose it. I'm not, as a lawyer, I disclose everything and just say you paid the fine. You learned your lesson, never do it again. Okay. Un video en español en la semana siguiente, compadre. Karina Luna, yes, apply when, okay, let's see. It's literally so stupid to keep DACA, but you can't work. Well, it's not. I mean, DACA is deferred action. We're deferring action. We are not deporting you. I agree. It's been a decade, right? It's been 13 years since DACA's been around, and you're taken away. It's not easy to move, but they don't want you, Medea. The state of Texas does not want you. Why do you want to stay? You can still visit there. You just can't live there. Okay. Shan Ustis, friend of mine plans to file. Oh, I already asked this. Yes. Hi, my sibling has DACA in Texas. They have an arrest for family. It was a no file. It was submitted on the last was approved. You think no, I don't think they'll have a problem. But if you have any sort of connection with the police, you probably want to talk to a lawyer, really, just to make sure. But I think they're perfectly fine. Okay. I submitted mine, still waiting for a response, asking for another person, but thank you. You're welcome, Karina. Maria, Red State, they did. They daffed you. That's true. I don't think the judge is going to listen to Maldef's suggestions. Well, it doesn't matter because Maldef's suggestions are basically the same as USCIS's suggestions. Basically the same. They will be opening new DACA applications, Luce. How does Supreme Court's 2023 decision impact the state's standing? Well, that's the problem. Only Texas has standing. Right? Standing means I have been injured. Well, when Texas filed this lawsuit, all these other states joined, and Texas was like, "Hey, we have driver's licenses that cost money, and it's going to cost us money," and it's a ludicrous argument. And none of the other states submitted anything. I mean, surely it was a piece of crap litigation. These are not the best lawyers out there. LinkedIn user, I was part of the Impact 5 OPT. Since then, I received annoyed. And my attorney lawyer's great. From the way it goes, after 6 months since I filed my 100%. There's no way to expedite or get a status follow-up. I'm sorry, LinkedIn user. If Judge Hannon decides no longer has standing, well, then the case is dismissed. If Texas doesn't have standing, it's dismissed. But he can't decide that because the Fifth Circuit already ruled they do have standing. So, no. Let's see. Just being a Texas so racist, it wouldn't surprise me. There you go. When Judge Head gives out the final ruling, there you go. All right, Pam, what happens if a person has an asylum case that's administratively closed and they still have a work permit, but they decide to leave the country for an emergency? It's here for 26 years, super clean record, they would not be able to come back. No. What I would do, Pam, is I would write, if you've got I would write to the lawyer and say, lawyer, please tell the judge I've left and either terminate the case or get a voluntary departure. That's what I would do, just to clean it up, Eddie, I think you got about 2 months. Judge Hanna hold another hearing. I don't think he's going to have another hearing. I think he's just going to have a final ruling. He doesn't need to have a final hearing. He's a waste of time. How long do you estimate they will apply public charge? Well, it's not going to happen for probably at least, I think, 4 to 6 months, and then it's going to be litigation. So I think it'll probably be a year, and I don't think it impacts people who already filed. If we're in the process of adjustment, do we still have to leave? No. I mean, say to Texas. Well, hopefully you got your work authorization from your adjustment of status application. You should have. Safe for U visa, bona fide to travel. Yes, safe to travel. Safe to bona fide is good, which is deferred action. And no, you shouldn't be deported. And we're filing a lawsuit on that. So let's say Hannon decides he should find order for the DACA case. I have no idea what head ludicated in pro casa is. What are the chances other states or Texas appeals that? It can't appeal. The appeal period's over. This is just a mandate. So there's no appeal. Judge rules against DACA. Again, quickly when it reaches the decision, it's over. That's it's not going to be heard this term. I don't see them appealing this. So I don't see it happening. I don't see how they can appeal. It's a mandate. I love Christmas in Texas and visiting group. I wish Texas let us back. Yeah, they don't. Friend of mine, Floyd, you don't have to ask a question once, Shan. I already answered that 3 minutes ago. Literally whenever he feels like. I'm waiting for I-130 to get approved. What is my next step? Since I have a deportation order when I was a kid, Laura says I doesn't have a plan for me. Well, if you have a removal order as a child and it's in absentia, you can move to reopen it. If you travel on advanced parole, arguably you can also file a 212 waiver. So feels like there's a plan. You just got to talk to a lawyer who knows what plans are. For Texas DACA, you think we will have to send back our work permits? I think you will, actually. I think they will ask for them back. They will certainly just cancel them. Is it possible to change the process from immigrant juvenile to marriage? If you have a legal entry, do you have a legal entry? If not really changing any status. But for that, Elizabeth, you should talk to a lawyer. You can call us. We do lots of these special number juvenile cases and happy to help. Do you know the conditions to apply for bond while in detention? Yes, you have to show that you're not a flight risk. That means you're going to show up for your hearings in the future. And 2, you're not a danger to the community. That's it. That's what you got to prove. Those 2 things. You email me. I'm happy to send you our list of documents. Ahora, buenos días. Entonces, ¿qué sigue en DACA para los casos pendientes? Lo van a adjudicar cuando el juez adjudica el caso. DACA holder, my own business tech, will I be unlawful to work for myself? Yes, you'll be unlawful to work for yourself. You also won't have a driver's license. Guys, please stay informed. Amazing when somebody makes Adriana. Hey, it's okay, Adriana. You know, there aren't, in immigration law, there are no stupid questions because this is really complicated and it doesn't make any sense. And by the way, the laws suck. So no, there are no dumb questions. You ask anything you want. Let's say Hannah decides to issue the final order for DACA. Oh, you already asked that question. So Danny, the Fifth Circuit claimed they will have the judges rule regardless of the appeal. They had a chance to show they are burnt. Yeah, there you go. Texas here, will you only incur unlawful presence if you don't have a legal? No, even if you have a lawful entry, you're not going to have any status. So yeah, everybody will begin accruing lawful presence, whether or not you have a lawful entry. You can still adjust status in the future, Yemli. That doesn't matter. I mean, unlawful presence is irrelevant for adjustment of status. Do you see any path of retreat? What would it take for Congress to agree? For whom? Lord Seven Gum? I don't know. For whom? I have DACA. I live in Texas. Did AP already. My DACA expires. Should I wait? No. Well, yeah. You shouldn't. If you're not, you should have filed in June. By the way, file 1 year in advance. But I would. Well, get AP. Well, why not file your AOS now? I mean, if you're married to a citizen, file your AOS now. You can stay in Texas and just notify them when you move, so you can renew your DACA. But if you file your AOS now, you're going to get another work permit from the adjustment. So, Tanya, give us a call. ¿Y qué pasa con los que ya tienen orden de protección para ser voluntario, pero tienen entonces aprobados? Si son detenidos, pueden pedir habeas corpus. But yeah, pueden pedir fianza ya. Greetings. Can you please elaborate on people being arrested? So this was crazy. So in San Diego last week, anybody who went to an adjustment of status interview who was out of status, even though they were getting a green card that day, was arrested by ICE. And now they can all get bonds and they'll all get out and they will all get green cards and it will be an exercise in futility. I don't think they'll be doing that again. One, it's just really terrible press. 2, they didn't get anybody out of it. I mean, there's not like, it was just mean. It was mean. Now, I know these people thrive on mean. I know they thrive on mean. But I don't think that's going to be really anything you have to worry about anywhere else in the United States. And I don't think they're going to do it anymore in San Diego. You need to have proof this matter. As DACA recipient, is it safe to travel? Then yes, it is safe to travel if you have an open removal. If you have a removal, fine. You go, you can travel. You look handsome today. Well, thank you very much. My wife dresses me. Have you been at this? Is there a business? No. My sibling has DACA in Texas. She had an arrest family was dismissed, no file. Oh, you already asked that question. You don't have to ask a question once. My parents filed AOS using the dates filing chart, not final action, got a fight work permit. They applied for it for them. How long is the AP valid for? The AP is generally good for 1 year. Hello, Sir Charles. How much is it because you, not one of you? Well, I never talk about fees. You can call my office. You can go online to my website. They'll tell you the fees for meet with me. By the way, my folks that work with me, I've got 12 lawyers. We got 20 paralegals. You know, some of my paralegals have 30 years of experience doing this. I mean, they're really experienced people, and we care. So you don't just have to meet with me. You can meet anybody in my office. And certainly, when we work on cases, we work in teams, right? So we have a lawyer and a paralegal, and I've got 2 lawyers, including me, on every case. So everything's getting double reviewed, everything's getting double followed up on, and you always have 3 people you can reach out to. That's kind of the service we feel that we need to give. All right, physician groups asking for blanket exemptions. Yeah, they're not going to do that. So you don't need to be wind down period at all in Texas. It'll be a 30-day wind down period. Can the new bond hearing update help those detainees removal order from being caught? Yes. Well, it will. If they have removal order, no, because You don't get bond if you have a removal order. Sorry. Is there a chance they will allow another renewal? Who? Renewal of what? What do you recommend those who are waiting in limbo for DACA? Wait a little bit longer. You're going to get a decision probably in the early part of 2026. Estimate is late. Well, for me, that's my guess. Don't put an end date on it. I think we'll hear by then. He could take a year. I don't think he will. I think you want to get it off his desk. Yes, Carla Ochoa, they will accept new applications. Can DACA get detained by ICE? Well, they have detained some people with DACA because they got arrested. So, yeah. But then you can get bond and get out. Hi, I'm from Honduras with DACA in Texas. No AP yet. What do you suggest I do? I suggest you apply for AP and get the hell out of Texas. Estoy en espera de 2 meses para el parol. Sigue siendo seguro ir para mí. Yep, está bien. Está seguro. No se preocupe. Charles, the Supreme Court won't get an appeal if the judge rules. Some claim is installed as back. This is not going to the Supreme Court. It's not going to the Supreme Court. Is there a chance that Texas might not lose their work permits? No, there's no chance of that. It's going to happen. Move. Voluntary departure in 2010, DACA recipient, AP in 2023, or 2022 will be able to do AS. You will be able to do AOS, absolutely. Congratulations. Totally awesome. Sorry, I am late. Now, did you leave and come back in? Because that's the problem. If you left and came back in, then you've got a permanent bar issue. So maybe not. So Sarah, you should call for an appointment. Late July for is this on an effect already? No, not in effect yet. Carmen and Rosenberg, it's not in effect yet. Take a breath. You will know when it's in effect because it'll be on every newspaper in America, in Texas especially. My father came to the U.S. in 2007. He was 28 years old. Would he qualify for DACA? No. You had to be 15 or under, basically under 16, when you came in prior to June 12, 2007. After the ruling, do you think the time frame will be the same for DACA? No, I think it'll pick up. I think it'll go a little bit faster than this. I mean, we got people getting renewals in a week right now. Any updates for F1 class action litigation? No, because as I told you previously, they have 60 days to answer. And it hasn't been 60 days. It won't be 60 days until December 2nd, next week. So no, we got nothing. What happens? Judge Hannon says again that he can't because the court's already ruled that it is legal. Joined late. Did you say how soon Texas will lose their work permits? I mean, my guess is February or March. Will they not even consider a wind down period? No, they will not, Gilberto. Phoenix AZ, EOR motion open is taking a while for the court to receive motion. How long are motions open taking with the EOR lately? Jacob, that just really depends on the judge. Some judges do every motion on their desk immediately. Others just sit on them. So I can't give you a time frame for Phoenix because there are like 10 judges. Do you think Judge DACA will get the revoked? In Texas, I do. What is unlawful prison mean for Texas? I'm about to send out an AOS. It doesn't mean anything for you, honestly, Ellen. It doesn't mean anything. So if you got your AP entry, unlawful presence is meaningless. So DACA recipients aren't allowed to obtain their CDL anymore. Well, there's a lawsuit on that. There's a lawsuit on that. So I don't know. I'm not a CDL expert. I applied for AP in May. Still nothing. That's because you're taking 11 months. So right now they're adjudicating cases from like January. How soon do you think you already answered that question. I'm a DACA recipient. Tech judge took away work. Can I rent an apartment in Oklahoma? Yeah, absolutely. That's what government said is fun. Can someone with a pending 360 travel with advanced parole? You're talking about a VAWA case, Cindy? I would not. I would not travel on a VAWA advanced parole. We've heard some horror stories on that, and you really want them to dig into your marriage and your case at the airport after a long flight home. Just wait until you get your green card. If I'm doing consular, should I switch to AOS? If I do advanced parole, well, always do it. You always do adjustment of status if you can, always. Because if there's a problem when you're consular processing, you're outside the United States. We're in the process of adjustment of status. We still have to leave. No, you don't have to leave. You've got adjustment because then you got to work for it that way. Any news in the Chamber of Commerce versus Homeland Security? No. Case is pending, and they've got briefs coming up next week. I've had DACA since the beginning when it would be revoked. If you live in Texas, it will. Just don't know when. Will this be frozen again if the judge rules and try to appeal? I do not see that happening. I really don't see that happening. From the latest brief from Texas asking the U.S. if gravy is not valid from can Texas impose? They can't do that. They can't do that. And the government in their brief says, no, can't do that. Sorry, not valid for work authorization in Texas. Yeah, you can't do that. That would be anti-constitutional. So they can't do that. All right, getting near the end here. I keep saying that if we or anybody in our family receives some form of government assistance, we can affect our AOS. That again, that's a proposed rule. It's not the rule currently. So you're fine. I talked about that earlier, Tanya. You should go back and listen to the part where I mentioned that. It's down below. Is DACA case considered fully briefed? Yeah, it is fully briefed at this point. Will it negatively affect the pending DACA if we originally worked under a fake name? Well, probably not, because they don't know. How are they going to know? You're not going to tell them, are you? I'm in Texas, currently waiting a first-time AP since February, but I'm being revoked. Should I apply for work permit resident? Now with cost with my wait for my AP. I would wait for your AP, because unless you have, now if you've got unlawful presence, you're going to need to do a 601A waiver first. If you don't have unlawful presence, you're going to have to leave Texas so you can avoid accumulating unlawful presence while you're waiting for your appointment, which takes over a year. So don't understand what I said. There are 90,000. Yes, there's people in Texas like you, because they're steps. Please use this is here's DACA Dreamers. I don't know, Don, what you're maybe you're not referring to me. I don't know. Sorry, I'm late to the live for Texas. Is this on effect already? Not yet. No. Is it true that we won't be able to AOS the U.S. citizens on SNAP? That's a good question. That would be illegal. That would be unconstitutional. So no, I don't think that's the case. Do you take on EB1 cases experience? Yes, we've done dozens, probably 100 of those cases. Sounds like you may qualify for an EB1. Shaw, give us a call. MALDEF requested a wind down period. I don't think they're going to consider doing that. Voluntary departure in 2010, DACA recipient, AP in 2023. My daughter, you already asked that question, Rhonda. Hey, people, only ask once. Come on. Let's see. Hi, Chuck. Would there be any issues if I renew my DACA since I dismiss? No, you should be fine. You got to dismiss charge. You're fine. I am not Mr. Baxter. Okay, I'm not. He's much younger and not as good looking as me. I thought that was still saying, well, not. Yeah. Has the government? Oh, Dual says here. Probably see her head down here. Hello. Let's see. Has the government responded to any of the HMV lawsuits yet? No. Did traffic citation affect the 45 process? Not only if you have one. No. That's a public charge. I already talked about that. Go back and listen to it. When should I start a consular process? You can. Each case is different. Talk to your lawyer. I live in Texas. When you say live in a state, work in Texas, but you can't work in Dallas. You live in Oklahoma. Probably not. I guess. I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of people that live in New York that work in LA 5 days a week. Who's the judge? I'm not going to judge you if you do that. Will the wind down period of pros? I don't think it'd be considered. Let's say, estoy a 2 meses de espera para mi advance parol, va a tomar 11 meses. Is church mission trip enough to apply for AP? It has been in the past, so I don't know why that would be any different now. How overwhelmed do you think ICE will be when they start to do renewals? I don't think they're going to be overwhelmed. I mean, they get millions of applications a year. An extra 100,000 isn't going to make a difference. For those with DACA expiring soon, should we wait until the judge's decision? I'd change your address now. I'm back with my AP since last week. Thank you, Carla. Welcome home. Welcome home. Hey, Jesus, good to see you. If I came with a legal entry and take DACA, should I start? You will begin accruing unlawful presence. Luis, thank you for your help. I really appreciate the live stream. Is there any truth to the possible change for those who marry a citizen who will be able to require a green card? But no, you have to have a legal entry. There's no change pending or even considered by anybody. You must have a lawful entry to get a green card through marriage or through a child who's over 21. Is it safe for someone to take domestic flights? If you have a valid passport or a valid identity card, you're fine. Hi, is there any way to get a green card applied with DACA? Can I remember sponsor you? Well, Cindy, this is why I do consults, because that's way too easy a question that takes 25 minutes to answer, because it depends on you. So give us a call. What's the difference between closing a duplicate order in court and applying for 212? You mean reopening and terminating versus a 212. A 212 forgives the removal order. The other one erases it. That's the difference. Chuck, will you have any issues if you're new enough? I dismiss. No, you should be fine. Can Texas Dreamer use Oklahoma address? You working That immigration said that was perfectly fine. Sorry, I'm late to the live. I already asked that. Okay. I came into the U.S. as a 7-year-old. I have no legal entry. I have DACA. Is there a way I can adjust without legal entry? No. Do advance parole. What are you waiting for? Just do it. Is it safer to travel with the U.S. once parole in place is approved? Well, if you're undocumented, you shouldn't travel. Okay. Can you still be deported having DACA and illegal entry if you commit a crime? Yeah, but just otherwise, no. Do you think taking people with overstaying visas to the green card is going to be detained? No, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen anywhere else. I filed a 212 and 45 after having approved I-130. I had an interview 2 weeks ago. My receipt date from July 1. I'm in Texas. What should I see? My work permit? What should I wait? When should it work? Typically, a work permit should be taking 3 to 4 months, typically. Pending initial application, charged with contempt in family court. That's not a crime. That's a civil offense. It's irrelevant. Can I run a business in Texas if I live in California? Sure. People do it all the time. You're welcome. ACV 99. It's always a blast to answer everybody's questions. So after we get our work permits removed, is there a specific leeway that we have? No. Again, you never have to leave Texas unless you want a work permit. If a DACA order was issued a removal order, why was a DACA order getting that? What? You can only appeal within 30 days, Jackie. That's crazy. You need to talk to us. I don't know how that possibly happened. Mi hermana está casada con ciudadano y recién se ha dado cuenta que tiene un orden de deportación que no sabía porque apuntaron la dirección de la frontera. ¿Qué puedes hacer? No sé. Tendremos que tener una reunión y mirar sus papeles y determinar la vía más segura por ella. Let's see. Happy Thanksgiving. Well, thank you to you too. We've got a few more questions. Is there an option worth entertaining or buying land there? Buying land where? My DACA expires in 2020. You should renew now, a year out. Renew your DACA a year out. Let's see. Very much appreciate you in there, Palcalas, 9212. I was 17 years old. My mom and stepdad filed for 245I. On April, they got married. Now I have a 12 son. You are grandfathered under 245I, presuming that your stepdad was in the United States on that day. And he had to be in the United States on December 2000. All right, let's see what else we got here. An admin closed removal order. My mom was applying for asylum, was reopened, requested to terminate. Is there any point to try and get admin closed again? I don't know. I need to see your case. Every case is specific. I can't answer that without more information. What can I do if I never received my DACA renewal? I only got the first receipt and they gave me the sheet number, but I called it, there's an answer. Janelle, you need to hire a lawyer to help you that knows what they're doing. Give us a call. Let's see. Can you get a bond if you have DACA, but you have a removal order? Yes. Well, you shouldn't even be detained. My wife has a visa U pending, but has her work permit C14. Can she apply for advanced parole? No, she cannot. Can you get bond if you have DACA? Jackie, I'm going to have to ban you because you answered it more than once. That's what happens. Everybody in Texas wants to know if we get an apartment. Can we travel to Texas? Yes. USCIS said that was fine. Which is what the judge says, okay? Let's see. My sibling is a first-time applicant, has a pending DACA in 2020. She's biometric. When she get pulled over for no driving speeding, They might ask about that. We'll see what they do. Let's see. Will public charge affect movable conditions? No, it will not. There's no public charge issue at movable condition time. Abogado, usted me respondió que con 212 aprobado por la presidencia uno puede salir per ban, pero usted dijo al otro señor que no. No entiendo tampoco, porque no me acuerdo diciendo no. If Judge Hanna takes a long time to decision, can Malda for someone sue him? No, you can never sue a judge. Traffic citation negatively affect 285. Now, Sharon, you asked that question before. Is there a reason you asked it again? I even answered it before. Were you not listening? You should listen stronger. My mother's a citizen. My sister's as well. I have no legal entry. What's the best way to file for me? I'm not married. I have a citizen daughter. Well, is your citizen daughter over 21? Because she can sponsor you, and your mom can do the waiver for you. Do you see advanced applications being processed quicker starting in 2026? I do not. Any negative consequences for DACA with dismissed DUI cases? There should not be. What happens if DACA is expired? ICE picks you up, but you have a clean record and married a citizen. Then you're going to be in immigration custody. Let's see. I only got a couple more minutes here. Can you open an LLC and management as a DACA recipient? Yes, you can. Los de DACA, cuando viajan a su país con el transporte de regreso, tienen que pagar? Sí, tienen que pagar los $1,000. Will the new public charge, if passed, affect movement? No. Oh, you asked that question before too. Don't do that, people. You're killing me. Let's see. Can they remove eligibility for bond again? No, I do not see that happening because it's illegal what they were doing. Is military parole place same as AP as far as 11 months processing? No, it takes 12 months. Can I still do parole place for my stepdad even though I'm married? I mean, your stepdad's in the military? Generally, no. You have to be a minor to do that. Let's see. Was on the H-1B in the U.S. 10 plus years. With approved I-140. Left a year ago. Still have a valid V stamp until July. Must be hired me H-1B. Does the new trigger? No, it would not trigger the new fee because you don't need a visa. You still have a visa stamp on your passport, so you're exempt. How much do you charge? I'd never talk about money here. I never talk about money online because every case is different. All right, a couple more questions here. Let's see. Mr. Kirk is like I'm the captain of the Enterprise, apparently. VAWA package receipts, how long they're currently taking? Several months, long time right now. Can you represent people from other states? Yes, we have clients from all over the country, and my wife is from Washington State. Let's see. What's your opinion on the federal government saying the following? As a practical matter, unwinding the unlawfulness of various periods of time may have resided in difficult as possible. Again, my take, I already talked about that last week when they said it. Sue, was this like a test or something? Take a look at what I said last time they ruled on that. Let's see. Do I have to take a civics test after joining the military? I don't know. I've never been in the military. Honestly, I doubt it. Let's see. Well, here's a crazy person. I don't know who Katie Yoder is, but she must be a crazy person. What can I do if I never got my DACA renewal? Oh, you already asked that question. I was late. What will consider public charge for DACA? Nothing, because it's not a consideration for DACA. I'm not going to try to understand what exactly do you mean we'll begin accruing unlawful stay in Texas or future revoked? Yeah, you will have deferred action, but you will be accruing unlawful presence. I don't know what the confusion is. They're different things. And let's take one more question here. If you were in our shoes, would you leave now or wait? I'd leave now, while you could still get cheap apartments in Louisiana or Oklahoma or New Mexico. I would leave now. Hey, great to be here with everybody this week. With a lot of questions, a lot of people on here. We're very appreciative of that. I'll be back next Wednesday from New York. I'll be in New York speaking at a conference, 2 different conferences next week, so I'll just stay up there. I'm sure I'll find a lovely hotel room somewhere to do this live from. We'll be in Spanish next week. Till then, I hope you guys have an amazing, wonderful Christmas. If you'd like some of this amazing hot sauce, let me know. Figure out how to get it to you. Let me just do this. So if you have questions, obviously, and you want to reach me, again, I'm Charles Cook, the founding partner, Cook Backstrom. You can just call this number, 404-816-8611, 404-816-8611 for a consult. You can also get a consult online. So you go to this website, in the upper right-hand corner, it says make an appointment, and you can make an appointment online. I do most of the consults by Zoom, which is so much easier. Even if you're in Atlanta, traffic's terrible. So just do it by Zoom. The only difference is you can't smell me, right? Other than that, I'm the same person you see in person. And of course, as you know, I answer every email. You got a question? Email me. I always get you back. And of course, finally, follow me on the Twitter machine. So until next week, this is your host, Charles Cook. I will see you then. Have a great week and have an absolutely amazing Thanksgiving. Take care.